I'm Allison Hanes, editorial writer for the Montreal Gazette.
And I'm Don Macpherson, Quebec Affairs columnist for the Montreal Gazette.
So Pierre Péladeau announced his bid for the Parti Québécois leadership today. What do you think of the way it happened?
Well, the announcement itself wasn't a surprise because, after all, he's been campaigning, in a sense, for the PQ leadership since he entered active politics in the last election campaign in March. What was surprising was the timing of the announcement. He announced it on a Thursday, and the fact that it was done in almost an offhanded way, in answer to a question from a student at a speech he gave at the Université de Montréal. We expected something more dramatic. We expected a show of strength on his part, that to try and show how much support he already has within the party for his candidacy, and to try and intimidate his adversaries, essentially to send them a message saying, look, my victory is inevitable. Resistance is futile. So you may as well go along with this. You may as well think about running for second place instead of first place. And you also might want to think about your futures after the leadership is decided, because I'm going to be the boss. So you might think about not being too aggressive towards me during the leadership campaign. Instead, we got a pretty low-key announcement today.
So what happens next in this leadership race?
Well, the big thing now is there are 6 declared candidates for the leadership, and the question now is how many of them are actually going to qualify for the official phase of the campaign, which is when the debates are going to be held. How many of them will get the necessary member signatures in order to qualify? Péladeau himself is expected to launch an early blitz to try and get as many signatures as possible, as quickly as possible, to show as a show of strength, the show of strength that we expected to get when he made his announcement, but that we didn't get today.
So does Péladeau have this all locked up, do you think?
Well, he's certainly the prohibitive favorite at this point. It's pretty clear that PQ members want him to be the leader, or most PQ members want him to be the leader. In all of the polls that have been done on the leadership, the PQ leadership, regardless of the actual wording of the question, Péladeau always comes out well ahead of the other contenders. The thing is, however, he's a political neophyte. He's only been in active politics since last March. He's a businessman who's used to getting his own way. He's not used to having to debate. He's not used to having to campaign publicly. He's not used to being contradicted. That certainly wasn't apparently wasn't the culture at Québécois when he was running Québécois. So he may be tested in the campaign in a way that he hasn't been tested before. Now the question is, how aggressive are his opponents going to be towards him, given the fact that their political futures may very well be in his hands after the leadership. So that's the question right now: is how well is he going to perform in the leadership campaign? Is he going to perform badly enough, or could he perform badly enough to cause PQ members to have second thoughts about choosing him as their next leader, and perhaps turning to one of the other candidates?
Well, it should be interesting to watch.
Oh, it'll certainly be interesting.